And as you open the door, who's there to meet you today?
Just the absolute brightest light. It's like a tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was crossing the bridge earlier, when you mentioned, it felt that I was falling and falling and falling. You know, when you see the movies where you see people falling through clouds and, you know, through space,
Mm-hmm.
it was as if I was just dropping and dropping and dropping. And there was, at the bottom, it was like you could have a lift, standing in a lift, and then you've got the lift floor.
Mm-hmm.
So that bottom was glass, and coming out of it all the way up is just shards and shards and shards of light, incredibly bright, bright, bright light. And as I'm watching, it's like I'm being lifted out of that and I'm being taken high, 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 high into the heavens. And the light is changing. It's going from absolute white to deep, deep purple and violet. And it's just shimmering and raining down. It's so bright.
And where are you being taken to with all this light that's shining down? Is there a
It's
specific place?
they're telling me that you're on point today because you spoke about pulse earlier on, and they mentioned the word pulse to me as well as I was driving on my way to take Ted for a walk today. And this is the pulse. They said it's the pulse of light. It's like the absolute point of creation, of how life pulses, vibrates. And they say that many people hear the words frequency, vibration, color, form, but they actually don't really know what it means. And they said every single human that is listening to this right now are able to listen because they've got a pulse and they need to feel their pulse. And that's going to tell them that they're actually alive. Because when the pulse stops, then there's no more life. And they said, what are they doing with their pulse? And they said, many at the moment are living in a state of stasis where it's almost like they've been stunned with a stun gun and they're treading water. They don't know what to do. They've been told that there are going to be so many changes. So they almost rooted in fear, not wanting to step forward and do new things. And they said this is the time to really live it up because they are alive, because they do have a pulse. And they said, what are they holding in their thoughts? Because when you are holding, you're not flowing. And this is a time for flowing. And they said, if now is not the time, when is the time? You keep on forgetting who or what you are. And so we come back to light, the pulse of light. And that's why we took her right through to the very center of creation that came out in a burst, in a pulse of frequency, with the light, with the sound, with the creation. And so we say, or we ask, what is it that you are creating this day, this moment, this second, as the time ticks on? What is it that you wish? Do you wish to live in a state of fear and anxiety? Or do you wish to engulf the present? If you want to help all those who are struggling at the moment, would it help if you are struggling yourself? What would you be able to send them over the Ethernet? It would come like this: dup, oh, dup, dup, oh. So they wouldn't be getting a strong energy boost. So the biggest favor that you can actually do for anyone else is actually shine your light, vibrate strongly by enjoying the moment, by going out and sniffing the fresh air, looking at the flowers, playing with your children, playing with your animals, embracing a tree, eating good food, having a great conversation with a friend. These are the things that uplift the vibration. And because you are connected to the grid, immediately you will be turning the volume up on the grid. So the grid will begin pulsating even more. And so that light will be felt on the other side of your earth plane, but also all the way to the universes, for everything is connected and interconnected. So this is not a time to tremble and live in terror. This is a time to embrace yourself and know who you are and remember your light and take yourself to that quiet point of stillness. And that is the biggest gift that you can give yourself and those around you.
Thank you so much for that confirmation, because I most certainly have been feeling a lot today, and I went down to the grass, and it feels exactly like those waves, those ripples that you've been sharing with us. Having said that, though, so many of us have been told that we are going through these upgrades, these ascension upgrades. And I would love to know, with the light that we are, I feel like we're reinvesting in the light, that we're re-navigating that source energy that we know we are, yet we're remembering and perhaps even relearning. So we know with grounding that helps our bodies, it's been proven. But what about those of us that perhaps don't have a patch of grass or live close to nature and are feeling these upgrades, are feeling these ascension upgrades? First of all, and I've got a few questions in here, so please just bear with me. What are the upgrades? What happens to our bodies when we go through these ascension upgrades, please? How can we integrate them?
Once again, we have to give you a gold star, because spot on again, feeling the pulse of the session. Only yesterday did we give Jill 2 upgrades, one through her groin and pelvic region, and actually on the top of her crown, opening up her crown. And she felt it so strongly that she was convinced that there was something on her head. And she even put her hand over her head to think, what is there? And then she put her hand over her thumb, over her belly button, with her hand spread over her abdomen. And she thought, would somebody else be able to feel what I'm feeling if they had to put their hand on my abdomen? And she tried to analyze the feeling. And she came up with the idea that it would be like putting a plug in and hearing a soft hum, a soft vibration.
Mm.
And she thought other humans surely must be having the same experience as she is experiencing. And then she started thinking, what is this upgrade about? And we would like to say that those that are receiving the upgrades are the ones, and you used the word earlier, invest. What does it mean to invest? It means to put into. So
Mm.
those of you who are investing in yourselves and not investing in the lower vibrations, but realizing that you've got a choice. You've got a choice whether you choose fear or whether you realize, yes, you've been warned, you've been told the troubled times are coming. But what would you do about the troubled times if they hit right now that you're not already doing? We told you, get your house in order, get your relationships in order, get your physical bodies in order. Start clearing out the clutter so that the ride through the tumultuous times are not taxing. Yes, you will feel it a certain way, but you can either have it as an exhilarating ride or as a really bumpy ride. It depends how much you invest in yourself. And you keep forgetting that you actually are a being of light. You are pulsating light. So if you are feeling down as such, the quickest way to vibrate at a higher rate, at a higher speed, that will take you out of your funk, is to lie quietly and start clearing out each chakra. If you don't have time, just visualize yourself opening up your crown like a beautiful bud into a full-blown blooming rose or any flower that you desire, and letting the golden white light come right through the core, and just absolute pulsating at such a speed. And you imagine that you've got a dial. It can be an old-fashioned dial that dials this way, or the modern one that just goes up and down. And you can actually visualize that light going through you, right up and right down. And you can spread it far and wide, right across the globe. And immediately as you do that, your vibration changes and reaches others, and immediately takes you from that lower, denser feeling to that higher one. Did Jill not do this very, very briefly on you last night, Michelle?
She did, yes.
And how did it feel?
It felt calming and relaxing, and I'm pausing because I'm aware of how I want to let you guys finish, but there's something that's how do we gravitate? How do we bring in? It's great when we have the time and space to allow that, and I feel safe with Jill. I feel safe with Shahira. But when people are in an environment where they're not feeling safe and they're not able to have the reflection that I had last night, what would you guys, how do you suggest to work with people like that?
Breath.
Okay,
Your breath is your fastest way to control your nervous system.
got you.
6 in, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it while you humans are driving, while you are sitting having a conversation with somebody. And all you need to do is slowly count to 6 and see it coming in, and slowly count to 8 and see it going out. You can even visualize it. You can do it in a meeting, you can do it while you're cooking, you can do it while you're holding a loved one, you can do it while you're walking, you can even do it while you're talking, while you're sitting. The breath is always with you. It is your pulse, is it not?
It is our pulse. And my next question is, and thank you for that, is like I can feel right now with the vibration. I know that when Jill and I, have these connections with you guys, I can feel the pulsation of light coming through me. And even though I can see myself on the screen, I can feel my third eye open, my ears start zinging and ringing. Yet, how come, Jill's taught me and shared with me about the photonic structure, I think it is, because we're the photonic structure, aren't we? Like the human.
Oh, packets of light,
Correct.
parcels of light.
Okay. So how come it makes us so batshit crazy when we have this when we have this light coming in? Like, is the light coming in too quickly? How do we calm it down? How do I calm it down? That's
by
what
being by being calm and investing in yourself.
got you. Okay.
So when you take on everybody else, so we're giving her the image now of when her little boys were small, she would take them to a play center and there would be what is called a pit. And instead of a sand pit, it would be filled with colorful balls, lots and lots of colorful balls. So humans fall into those colorful balls and you could literally get lost. They could just envelop you.
Mm,
But if the colorful balls weren't there, the stimulation wouldn't be there, and you would be calm if you had to just lie still in a pit without all those balls all over you. And those balls are what so many of you are juggling all the time, are you not?
yes.
So as humans, you take on a lot. And often you take on things when you should least be taking them on, for your plate is already loaded. So it comes back to boundaries, learning to say no, coming back to the self-esteem, coming back to the feeling of worth. And we would like to reiterate once again, you all are worthy. You all have worth. If you were not worthy, you would not be on this earth plane right now. For have we not stated prior to this that all that are here at the moment are specifically here because they have been chosen, because they are the best of the best, and yet they doubt themselves, and that is why we ask them to quieten themselves. Take a moment to reconnect with the light, because that is who they are. That's their connection. If they cut the connection from the busyness, that is when the doubt sets in. That's when the crazy woo-woo sets in. You have to still yourself to get the best out of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little gift that, how do we put this? Would you go for a day or a week without charging your cell phone and expecting your cell phone to be able to take calls?
No.
So then why would you think that yourself wouldn't need to be charged and plugged in to be able to get the best out of yourself?
True. Valid point.
So it is simple as that. It could be just breathing quietly and seeing the stream of light coming in, boom, connected. It would be closing your eyes and saying something as simple as, heaven help me, another connection. You could be sitting next to a tree Your feet could be in water. You could be standing on the ground. You could be sitting in your car and just close your eyes to disconnect from the busyness around you. Closing your eyes is a very good way of going within and connecting at any stage.
Thanks for that, guys. I keep hearing 144,000. Now, I don't know a lot about this. I've read a little bit or watched a few YouTube channels where they speak of, you guys talk about this is why we are here, and yet I hear about this, like I say, 144,000. Is this like an elite group of people or a group of souls that are here for this time? Like, is this ego stuff that people have made up? Like, where does this come from? What is the number pertain to? Is quite a few questions. I've got a lot of questions for you guys today, so just brace yourselves.
Well, the 144 has been mentioned before. And we would like to say there are many, but there are few. They are always those who are the leaders, and they are always those who are the followers. But the followers are no less important than the leaders, and the leaders are no less important than the followers, because how does anyone ever be a leader unless one has a follower?
Hmm.
So the followers are the ones that are very important because they give the leader the job. And there will be those who have been chosen and specifically been given instructions that will come into fruition at the particular time that they are needed to be unlocked. And they are scattered across your earth plane, waiting to do what it is that they have come to do. And yet, without the band of merry men around them, not much can be achieved. The same as you come in and you have a soul family and they come to your aid when needed. So, as Jill so often likes to say, no one does it alone, and yet many feel alone
Mm-hmm.
because they forget to invest and switch on the light and connect with themselves. And when they do that, they're connecting directly to source every time. Does
Well,
that
I love
answer your
it.
question?
It does. Thank you. And initially, when you were describing it, I suppose I have a resistance to, because I believe, and it's just a belief, that we're all equal too. But I do know in this human space that we reside in and are privileged to live on. I believe we're privileged to live on Earth, and uh, it's sometimes. I feel like there's some people out there that just like we're the 144,000, and I'm like, well, who says? Who says you are? So, does it make sense? It feels like there's so much ego happening in us in our spirituality, and I know that this is again part of being human. So, I'm just kind of throwing it out there to you guys to give us valid answers, to give us a moment of truth. And when you had shared up and towards the end, Jill had put her hand on her heart, and I was like, "There's the truth." Um, is that the truth that we trust? Is that the truth of the knowing? Is the You guys know us as human beings. We can just be weird, and there's so much ego that plays itself out um, in these different spaces, in these different and I suppose what I'm trying to say is, and I know I'm making sense, but it feels like I'm not making sense right now, is that the hierarchy of what we've all the control, the hierarchy is this part of what we're all changing? Is this part of what we're shifting? Because I think that's my resistance today, is like, okay, yep, you've got your leaders and you've got your followers, but we're all equal too. Is it the mind that trips us up, that says, like, I'm over talking right now and I'm overthinking this, am I not?
Not at all. Everybody wants to feel that they are special, and yet they are. No one, however, is more special than another, or all are unique. And yet one wants to know, am I part of the 144? And what will one do with that knowledge? Will one puff up one's chest and then feel superior to another? We mentioned before the word joy, just own yourself. If you all had to spend the time owning yourselves and not looking into the dramas of your neighbors, of your friends, of your family, of your work colleague, how much time, how much more peace would you have within?
Mm.
You wouldn't have the time or the necessity to think, oh, am I part of the 144? For you would be specially spending time just with yourself, making sure your pathway is clear, living your greatest life, living your greatest light. But when you go onto another path, you're taking the light off your path and you start putting it into another area. And then the light's not on your path, and that's when you start to stumble because the light has not spread out evenly. It's now going in patches. And that's why we say, when you concentrate on your path and you're true to yourself, your path is well lit. We are always here to put the people and the places and the events on your path at the right time. But if you're so busy looking into everybody else's business, you don't even see what's on your path. So this is a time for, as Jill says, winding your neck in and going, right, what is it that I came to experience this time round? You know, there are many that say, oh, this isn't fair, this isn't equal, that person is definitely more privileged than the other. But what happened prior? What was it that that soul wished to expand in a particular lifetime? They were the king, they were the queen, and now they're the peasant. And anybody looking at the peasant at this lifetime would go, well, that's not fair. You have such great wealth over in that corner, and you've got such poverty there. Wow, look at these people. These people are being bombed, and yet these people are living in peace.
Mm.
Well, who's to say that those weren't the bombers the last time round? And now they're coming back to experience what is it like to be bombed? And yet many will go, oh no, nobody would ever think of that. Why would anybody ever choose that? Because all is an experience. So that's why we say, look after yourself. If you really, really look after yourself and are true to yourself, then you will allow everybody else to expand to their fullest. And then you will have time to spread the joy. And then everything will be lifted, everything will be joyous. But the minute you start looking into everybody else's business and taking it on as yours, that is when you get the load. That is when the vibration starts to depress. And we are not saying do not care for another, do not have compassion for another. But what we're saying is clear your house out first so that you do not get thin on the ground. For how are you going to be able to water anybody else when you are the one that's wilting?
Mm. Thank you for that. That's great information and a lot of reminders in there. And it really is, I feel, a wonderful year of growth and a wonderful year to bring the change. Having said that, can we ask some really, what may seem like, for the humans that are listening to this, some real challenging questions?
You may.
Thank you. The war, guys. We all know, we've all got our theories around the war. Is it ending this year? In Israel, first and foremost.
Well, what we'd like to say is how many wars are going on inside each human?
Mm-hmm.
Is that war going to end this year?
I love that. You keep bringing it back to the human experience.
Well, it is all human experience. How much do you care about yourself? Do you allow a war to carry on within you? What are you carrying? If you are carrying stress, anger, resentment, frustration, then you have a war going on in your system. Then your organs feel it, your bones feel it, your cells feel it. For the emotions hold chemistry, chemicals, which affect everything in this human environment. So as long as there is a war going on within, there will be a war going on without. But the level of the war going without will depend on what is happening within. For you are all incredibly powerful beings, but you keep forgetting that. Your light is so bright that it can obliterate any war like that. And yet you doubt it. And so you keep the warring going until you come together as a global consciousness and you go, no more. This no longer serves us. And have you noticed that there have been pockets of tension building and building?
Mm-hmm.
And the human being will go and go and go until they say, I can't do this anymore. And it's the darkest and the heaviest, as they say, before the dawn. And it is the dawning of Aquarius, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Please to look up the age of Aquarius. This will give many much hope. You have all chosen to be here for this new age, the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius is a water sign, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
And water flows. So will you be the block in the water, or will you be the sluice that opens up and lets it flow? Let it flow through you and then let it flow through everyone else. And as this one recently told someone, when you let it flow, then you let it grow, and then you glow. It is time for the shine.
I love that. The time for the shine. And yeah, I feel that that's like a great place to sort of just land with today, because there's so much. And I was just reading about the age of Aquarius as you guys said that, and it's about the technology. It's about there's so much change that we're bringing in. How are you guys assisting us with this change? You're talking about us as humans, which I love, and thank you for that. Yet, we've all got our teams. You guys are a part of our team. So how are you guys helping us? How are you assisting with the age of Aquarius?
Through your dreams? Have you not had vivid dreams in recent months more so than ever before?
Oh my God, some hectic dreams. Hectic. Like, woo.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one as well. Very, very vivid dreams, dreams that she can remember. And we ask that perhaps you start a dream journal and start looking into your dreams, for there are many messages there. We are giving you the upgrades, and we are coming through and using her voice today specifically. And this is how we help. by shining the light, by putting the spotlight back on the light. For the light is everything. This one said to the water last night, and she was drinking it in the middle of the night, "Thank you, water. Thank you so much for being on our planet."
Mm.
And she thought, wow, she gets so thirsty in the middle of the night living in this alpine environment. And it's a very drying environment. And then she thought, what kind of a planet would this be without the water? She wouldn't be able to wash herself. She wouldn't be able to wash her clothes. She wouldn't be able to cook. She wouldn't be able to grow her plants. She wouldn't be able to put water inside her whole system, for everything needs water. And then she realized what a beautiful and magnificent planet she's living on, that she's chosen this time round. For not many planets are as beautiful as Earth. So for those of you who cannot live in an environment with the forests and the beaches and the grassy areas and the mountains, we suggest that you go on what you call YouTube, or onto your computers, where you can look into National Geographic, or take a walk visually with your eyes through Yellowstone. Go underwater with the snorkelers. Have a look at all the beautiful fish. There is coral. There is beauty everywhere. You can see all the little insects, how each one affects another one, how the ecology works so beautifully, how it's balanced. Go and sit in a park and concentrate on the ground. Look and see if you can see an ant. Follow that ant for a few moments. See where it goes. Lie next to a swimming pool. See the little dragonflies hovering, and the bees, and the butterflies, and how the birds swoop, and how everything works in so beautifully together. There is much to wonder, and yet one complains and one looks at what could be, but the could be is not here yet. So why would you rob yourself of the magnificence and the beauty of the moment? You actually robbing yourself of a beautiful time. We do not understand this when you've been gifted the present. What you are putting in today, in this very moment, automatically takes you to the next moment. And that will be the decision, whether it'll be a lighter moment or a heavier moment. And if you want to use this new word manifest, what is it that you're manifesting? Are you manifesting the light, or are you manifesting the dark? It's a dance. They dance together. And the dark does its job so beautifully. It shows you where you don't want to be. And the light highlights the dark, showing you that there's dark there. This one's just realized yesterday and today she has been turning her neck so quickly because she's gone, oh wow, somebody's here. And there's been nobody there, but there was somebody there. For we have been putting beings close to her to come and assist her with the work ahead. For is she not going to be changing her work?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, how are we helping you? And we help in so many different ways. So she now has an anticipation. She saw the being that came past as dark, but it wasn't a dark being. It was dark because it was a form
Mm-hmm.
that she could see it. So not everything that is dark is heavy per se. It is the way you look at it. Any single situation that currently can be dark in your life is actually beauty personified because it comes as a gift. It's like those triggers that you get, and you go, oh my gosh, that person triggered me. That situation triggered me. No, it didn't. You triggered yourself, the way you felt towards something. And yet we say, that is how we help you. We put the people and the places and the events on your path in order for you to trigger. You know, a trigger is like when you've got a stick of dynamite or a hand grenade and you pull out the trigger, and then there's an explosion. And that's why people say, oh, I was triggered, because it's like a little mini explosion inside. And we have to ask you, why are you being triggered unless it is so much fun?
That is so true. And yesterday I was flying in from Auckland to my hometown, and thank you for your help, guys. And thank you for clarifying that, because I'm not only speaking for myself, I'm speaking for others here too, for perhaps people that are questioning, wondering, and absolutely, I'm 100% on the same page as you. And when I was flying in yesterday, we're flying in over the ocean, and I was talking to the ocean and saying, oh my God, you're so amazing. And I was like, where's the whales? Look for the miracles, look for the miracles. And then I had my community gathering yesterday morning, and I said to everybody, look for the miracles. And this morning I went into the ocean, and it was calm and peaceful. And I was in that moment, I was annoyed with my husband, and I walked out onto the beach, went into the ocean. He was walking separately, and we were both in a calm space, but clearly feeling something on the inside. And we just both went quiet. And I said to myself, look for the miracles. Because I think exactly what you remind us of today is we're always looking for the big miracles, the big happenings, the big explosions. When the big explosions happens, obviously it brings change, rapid change, conscious change as well, meaning the wars, the floods, the earthquakes, the volcanoes. It's somehow interesting when that energy happens, people come together all of a sudden. And when I was walking into the ocean, I went, look for the miracles. And it was calm, and I saw this tiny little feather that was just floating amongst all this water. And I was like, there it is. So thank you for that reminder. Thank you for the reminder of how can you just calm down a little bit in our journeys of how you trigger us, please?
Well, this
and bring,
morning, we
and bring
laughed
it out.
because this morning, this one decided to walk her dog. So she decided to go a certain route. And then on this road, there was a stop sign. The man was holding the stop sign, and they were working on the road. And in her mind, she's going, I didn't even know there was roadworks here. If I knew there was roadworks, I wouldn't have come this way. Oh my gosh. And she said to the dog, it's okay, Ted, we're going to be there soon. Okay, we're going to be there soon. And she waited and she waited. Eventually, she got through the roadworks, only to find at the bottom was a detour. And she, I don't believe this. I mean, seriously? Really? And then she had to go all the way around. Whereas if she had gone from where she was in a straight little line, she would have been there. And she said, because we had given her this point of stillness, and she's taking it every day, her point of stillness, very seriously. And there's been a marked improvement in this one, just from investing in herself and connecting herself with her light and the light, the direct line to source. You're all directly aligned and connected to source. You decide to dim it down. And so she went, oh my gosh, I know why there was a detour. I know why there was a stop sign, because something fabulous is going to happen on the walk. That's why. And then she thought, maybe there was a detour because if she had gone the straight line, maybe there would have been an accident. And she was protected from that, and she started smiling. And all along the walk, she was waiting for that miracle, that magic moment. And there was a family at the lake, and the mother was holding the selfie up with the camera, stretching her hand as far as she could. And obviously, they were visitors and they had added family. And there's no way that mother was ever really going to get herself in that picture. And Jill said, "Excuse me, would you like me to take that photo of you?" And they went, "Oh, would you?" "Yeah, sure." And she stood back and she took some great photos. And in her head, she said, "That's why you had the detour. Because if you hadn't taken the detour, you would have missed the exact moment when that mum needed to be in the photo with her family." And so that lifted Jill's heart. And do you see how she chose to look on the bright side, on the light side, instead of getting aggravated and annoyed and heavy? And that's why we say it's a choice. How do you wish to be in the moment?
I love that. Guys, you've been phenomenal today. And may I ask, who have we been talking to?
Aurelius and Dominus.
Thank you, Aurelius and Dominus. And any last
And we would
comments?
like to say you can call us A and D, but we prefer DNA.
Thank you for that. Who else? Sorry, not who else. How would you like to end this session? Any words of encouragement or wisdom to finish off today, please?
Well, this one can't sing. This is not one of her strengths, but we're putting these words in her head, and you might be able to help her because you have a much better singing voice than this one. And it's "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine."
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, guys. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
today.
much.
We thank you for being here, and we thank you for all the guidance that you keep sharing with us. On that note, Julie, start wriggling your toes, taking big breaths, open your eyes. The count of 3, coming back. 1, sound like you. 3. Oh, that was fabulous.
I've got what does this say? This is being recorded. Got it.
Recording.
There we
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
that was fabulous.
Hi, how was that?
Awesome. Yeah, some great. There we go. You see, you can see Jill's decor. She was worried. I said she got to take the black and white pillow out. She's like, they need to see my decor.
My cute little pillow.
No, we need to focus on you, not the chicks.
Oh dear.
How are you feeling? You know, I'd share a read about the age of Aquarius, and I'm glad that they
Yes.
brought that up because there's quite a few different things out there. But in astrology, the age of Aquarius is when humanity takes control of the earth and takes destiny within its own hands. This also leads into the expansion of mindfulness and consciousness because Aquarius represents humanity and supports power of the people.
And you see, into its own hands.
And it also says, how does the age of Aquarius affect us?
Yes.
It ushers a shift in perspective. The focus moves from me to we as we begin to deeply understand that we're all connected and nothing happens in isolation. Pretty cool, eh?
But that's exactly the message today.
Absolutely.
Hey, invest
Absolutely.
in yourself and automatically those around you are going to benefit.
Well, you know what, Jilly? I was, and exactly that. You taking the downtime. Have you noticed how your nervous system and how your body's recovered so much quicker? Like you don't have the freaking eyes that you want to scratch out, and
Right? Yeah, yeah. Ever since I've invested in myself, that's gone.
I mean, you were next level,
Basket case, awful.
yeah. But
I
just
look
notice because
I
you've
look like a
reclaimed,
pit bull terrier with pink eye.
yeah. It's incredible, hey? You see
Yeah.
how it's just creating space in our bodies, and it's walking away. It's literally walking away and just saying, okay, just create, or being in a space and just creating the breath. Absolutely creating the breath. So everything was validation for me, which is what I love, you know. I was kind
Oh,
of
that's
pushing
good.
you today because I was like, come on, just give us the answers, you know.
And do you know that one thing I found quite fascinating since I've been doing this new work and this real connection with myself and this chakra stuff that I'm now going to start giving sessions on that so people can book in and actually feel what I've been feeling, because I've actually felt them in my different systems inside, making little yeah, for want of a better word, vibrations.
Mm,
It's I've felt the frequency. It's a shifting in frequency. It's like changing gear,
mm,
you know, from neutral into first. It's like, yep, let's go.
mm.
And I'm thinking, well, if I've learned how to do this for myself and I know it works and I've learned so much, it's like, how can you, how do I explain it? I've I've absorbed a lot over the years in knowledge, but it's like everything's starting to click in now more. And it's almost like it was in a fog and now it's crystal clear. And I'm going, wow, that's brilliant. That's how that works. That's why I feel that way. And now that I know that and I've experienced it, I can now teach it. And I
Yes,
can have people have a physical hands-on experience so that they too can then lose the fog.
yes, but you've actually said it, the magical words, you've experienced it. And in my opinion, perception, belief, unless we've experienced it, it's like, you know, how can we how can we say to people, "Ah, I understand what you're talking about."
Look at this.
Is he lying at the bottom? Oh,
Say hello, Ted. He's going
hello,
nowhere.
Ted. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was going to actually ask you, did Ted answer you in the car when you were like, Ted, sorry, we're going to be there now. Sorry, Ted, we're going to detour. And
No, I speak to him
he's like,
always.
okay, Mom, don't worry, I'll just put my hand on your shoulder.
I swear they know exactly what we're saying.
But they do. And there's actually a guy on Instagram who it's so sweet. His dog he gives him mathematical sums and the dog counts with his paw. It's just incredible, like kind of touches. It's amazing.
You
They do
see?
know. They absolutely do know. There's no doubt. Do you see why they become our best friends, our
Oh,
companions?
oh,
Because they just get it, hey. And the best thing is they don't answer back. He's a male and he doesn't answer back. See, I'm laughing at
no.
myself.
So now, are we going to tell people that we've got something special to share with them on Saturday?
Yes, but we can't tell them what just yet. Okay. All we can say is we can't. We've got to hold your breaths, guys. We've got some really, really awesome, some
Exciting
really
news coming up. Yeah,
exciting news coming up,
yeah,
and it's with requires travel, and we're looking forward to putting this out there. And yeah, it's a special launch. Hey, it's a special.
yeah.
It's kind of like liftoff is happening. That's for sure.
Woo, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty.
no, I'm very excited. Hey, thank you so much for today. Oh, I've got a
Oh,
mich here.
thank you. Thank you as well. And you know, it's great that you're coming into your own so beautifully, Julie.
Oh, thank you. I feel
Yeah.
it. Feel it.
And well, that's it's kind of like the anointing's happening for both of us, which is just so beautiful. And I always knew this somewhere in myself. I knew that the universe had aligned us so perfectly. And again, you've got so much wealth, so much wisdom to share. And we work so well together, I think, that, I'm good with the human, and you good with the spirit, and now I'm it's like I'm getting out there, and you becoming in here. Do you know what I mean? And it's like
Yes, yes,
we're
yes.
connecting, like even
Merging.
merging. Yes, we're merging. We stay in our lanes, not often though, but we do. But it's like, and I love what they said, because that is so true.
What?
Sweep in front of your own door. They didn't use those words, but every time we're putting out energy. It's kind of like, and people don't realize this, unfortunately or fortunately, is that every time I was addicted to drama. Every time I was getting involved in the drama, I would put my energy out there. Because I was wanting to fix, I was wanting to rescue, I was wanting to help, and it's become a learning to come back into myself and say, okay, for now, this isn't my role. This isn't my, and where I learned this was when we were in Christchurch. We went to Christchurch last year in October, I think it was, to the spiritual fair, the expo, and I was coming back from the toilet, and you were busy scanning somebody's body, and there were two women standing waiting, and I literally walked up to the woman. I said hi, but I literally walked into her field, into her space, and then I said, hi, I'm Michelle, and would you like a reading? She didn't ask me what I did, and it was fascinating because it was one of the hardest readings I've had for a long time. So much so that, because she was like, her mom came through, and like nothing was resonating, nothing was resonating. And then she sat up, and then she started to cry. And I said to her, I said, you know what? I'm not going to charge you for this. If anything aligns, or if anything resonates in time, you're welcome to give me a call and find out my bank details if you want to pay me. Otherwise, pay it forward to somebody else. And I realized I went into her space. It's like I encroached on her. Do you know what I mean? She didn't come asking. I was like, and I didn't even click until afterwards. And guess what I'd said to myself, like literally a few minutes before I did that? I was walking back from the toilet. I was like, yo, man, I'm tired. I just need a break, eh? And the universe, okay, let's give you a break.
So
Let's
you
give
were a home invader.
Absolutely, but it always kind of it hurts where it hits hardest, which is the financial for me, which is what I'm still working on in my belief systems. But I felt like it was really aligned, because if I'm not adding value, if I'm not adding worth, what's the point in charging?
But you had trust by saying, look, I won't be charging you.
Absolutely. So I got the life lesson really quickly, but I went into her space. I went into her lane, which is what they spoke about today. Stay in your lane. Trust what you're being shown. Trust what you're getting. And we often output it's like creating shortages. You
And
know
they
what I mean?
said, don't offer help. I remember ages ago, they said to me, don't offer help unless somebody asks for it. Otherwise, it's ego.
I know, but isn't it weird that as humans
If
we
they
just
ask you, yes, then you can get involved.
yes, but we just want
Otherwise,
how often do you do that? How often do we actually just we offer help? We assume for others. We come from our place of perception. Yeah, but they can't do this, and maybe they don't have it right now, or maybe they can't afford it right now, which is true. How do we know that though? Because it
mm,
may not be true. It might be the truth for us in that moment, but we actually don't know until we know. So do you see how the and I keep getting the words output, 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 which
and
again comes, sorry, go for it.
you go for it, output.
No, which again comes to how I'm definitely finding a space, and I'm busy working on this at the moment with my business, is the output of WhatsApp, text messages, Facebook messages, and yes, it's our choice to do this. Okay, we put this out on YouTube, I put stuff out on Instagram, on Facebook. It's my choice. But trying to answer messages, trying to answer 15 different people, doing sessions, running a business, being a family person, it's just too much. I'm realizing that my output is continuous. So no wonder I'm depleted, and then I don't want to socialize with anybody. I don't want to do anything.
And then that's robbing you of the joy, then, of the real joy of that. But you know, you just really helped me with something now that they've put into my head, was that when you said, you know, paying for somebody because you feel that they haven't got enough or whatever. And then it took me back to when Greg and I were newly married and we were coming to New Zealand, and we were going to bring a car with us, but we were waiting for the paperwork to come through, and the paperwork took 2 months more than we had thought. And we had absolutely no income coming in. Everything that we had been paid towards our flights, plus the ship to take all the stuff, you know, and we were living on the bones of our bottom, and we had 1 tin of jam and a loaf of bread
Mm.
for a week.
Wow.
Had somebody come in and given us food and whatever, we wouldn't have had that same experience. So I really, really appreciated stuff so much after that, because I didn't have much for a short while.
Mm.
And then it made me realize what it is to go without.
Yes, but there's the experience again.
But you see, if somebody had robbed me of the experience by thinking that they were being fabulous and coming in and delivering. So sometimes it's like sometimes you're supposed to experience that hardship.
Yep, that is, and that's interesting enough. That's where it's in the learning of being human, is through our experiences. And I love how they said how we talk about manifesting. Well, manifesting means so many different things. Like I was going to ask them today, what's their understanding of success? We have an understanding as human beings that success is what?
They've
Well,
just told me
what?
being here.
Of course it is. Well, we're miracles. We're a miracle being here. We're a miracle that's been birthed. We're a
You are
miracle
the
that's
miracle.
one freaking sperm that are fighting millions of other sperms. Like back off. That's my egg. That's how I imagine it.
Oh,
I'm
I
always
don't,
going to go further.
you
But
know,
it's a miracle. Jilly, millions of sperm, and one sperm chooses that beautiful egg. How incredible. And if you think of just even scientifically, how that is, it has to find the egg and zone in to get inside. And then we start to develop. And it's a miracle.
yeah,
It's an absolute, we are walking, talking miracles.
yeah.
And sometimes when I'm focused in my pity party or my victimhood, the universe will deliver somebody, like
Works.
let's say I'm like, oh man, I should go into the gym and I didn't get to this or blah 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 blah, or my house or whatever. And then the universe will deliver somebody that's in a wheelchair. Oh, Michelle, be grateful for your legs. Or, going to somebody's home where they do not have, as I was going to say, as much as me, which sounds like it's an ego way of saying it, but I do have a lot. We do have a lot. I actually think as human beings, most of us have far too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I look at my wardrobe and I've
That's
gone,
a lot to look after.
yes, and it's a
If
lot
you're
to
just
dust.
living in a tent,
It's a
you know,
lot to dust. I know.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Well, when you were saying it earlier on, and what describing yours and Greg's experience, it's like that walking that fine line of when we put out and we genuinely want to help or pay it forward, and to show up for people, and where people will be open to receiving. Because most of us, I think, battle with receiving. And we know it's a universal law, but it's flow.
But you know what's so beautiful that they do in Wanaka? I think it's called food angels. I think they call themselves food angels. And somebody will go to them and say anonymously about a family, say if Greg and I were struggling, they would say, listen, the Coles, I think, could do with a food parcel. And they put it in a basket. It's all home baking, home cooked. And they leave the basket at the front door.
Yes.
so
Yes.
that there's no embarrassment and there's no nobody has to say, well, we didn't ask for this or who said this or whatever, so that the person can actually graciously receive it. I think that's beautiful. And the people making it don't need a pat on the back. They're doing it because that's their role in this life.
Yes. And I stand
It's
in a
filling them
correction.
up by doing it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful way of paying it forward. And I stand in a correction because in Queenstown, down the road from you, where we lived, the lady started, it could be the same, it sounds like the same concept, but she started baskets of blessings.
Oh,
And her mom had passed over, and she decided to do this as a pay it forward. And the beautiful thing is like, again, I could nominate you. You don't know where it comes from. I just nominate you, which then we don't have the embarrassment or the shame or the feel like you've got to owe somebody back again,
yeah.
you know. And it was such, I got involved with, it's still running exactly what you're saying. This might have been another one that's been created, like that octopus effect, you know. And I think what a beautiful, wholesome, and we all got involved as volunteers, picked up things, people baked, home baking. That's what I that's what I loved about coming to this country. You know,
It's
how
your
many
time. When you
Yes,
bake something for somebody or make them a meal,
yes,
you're investing your time.
yes,
It's so
exactly.
much better than just saying, oh, here we go, here's a bag of chips or, a packet of biscuits. That's where the love is, hey?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, guys, watch this space. We'll be back on the weekend. Hey, Jilly, and we've got some exciting
Oh, I'm so
news.
excited. Sorry, guys, I haven't done anything for a while, but quite frankly, um, I've had visitors for absolute ages and it's been Christmas and I've been exhausted. So I thought I don't want to come and chat and say anything that's going to be like a Debbie Downer and like, ugh. So here I am bringing my shine.
I don't think any apologies are necessary. You're giving to yourself.
Yes, it was time.
And
It was time for me to
yeah,
give to myself.
yeah, I think you were just so tired. Like, look at Jilly's linen. That linen's been washed a lot, guys. Okay.
It has, okay, guys. There've
Like
been
every time her
plenty
and
of
I talking,
visitors.
she's taking off. She's got her phone and we're busy chatting and she's busy busy
But the
putting.
blessing, the blessing in making all that linen is we've had sunshine. It's been beautiful days. So it's dried like this on the line. So you
Yeah,
see, that's the
yeah.
upside.
Yeah. No, not for me.
Yeah, no, I love burying my nose in fresh linen and on the sheet, just smelling the sun. It's just like
So
so
many,
delicious.
yeah, the small things, those little miracles, eh? So how lucky are we? Thank you for being here today, guys. And as you know, like, comment, subscribe, freaking put it out there, share this with information with everybody because it's there to be shared. And we love, love, love doing this
Yeah.
without a doubt. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
You have a beautiful day. Okay, guys.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.